The human soul has a minimum daily requirement of entertainment, but listening to a podcast like you're doing right now, yeah, that doesn't count. Welcome to the world of MGM Rewards, where we have the greatest live shows on earth, the biggest names in sports, the best chefs on the planet, and the most unforgettable nights of your life. This is way beyond watching 20-second clips on your phone. This is all the entertainment you can handle and more. So join MGM Rewards now and visit MGMResorts.com to book your next Vegas getaway. Welcome to the show.
Need a winter holiday escape? Forget your cares in Fiji. White sand beaches and scuba diving are calling. Your tropical paradise getaway is just one nonstop Fiji Airways flight away. With round-trip fares starting at $899 from LAX or SFO. Or check out great fares to Australia and New Zealand with seamless connections via Fiji. Book now at FijiAirways.com. From here to happiness, flying direct with Fiji Airways.
Steering wheel. Collapse the steering wheel here. Give him steering wheel. Hey. Hey. Steering wheel. Somebody tell him to give it to him. Come on. Whoa.
Do that, can I please? Do that hit?
How the f*** is that possible?
I'm driving like a grandma. Get that, Ralph? Did you hear me? I'm on radio. The rest of the race. Ralph, acknowledge. Now, come on, close him down and kill him. We've got a lunatic on the track down the hangar straight. I am so annoyed.
Hello and welcome back inside the Park from Mayfair podcast number 866. This is Todd.
No, Todd, not now.
Yep, a.k.a. Negative Camber. You know why I've asked you here.
You must convince the villagers that I'm harmless.
That's exactly what I need you to do. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Yes, exactly. Tonight, for your kind consideration, well, we're going to be talking about what everybody else is talking about. You know, it's kind of a big story. I don't know. Why not? But before talking about that, I got to introduce my co-host, which means I have to go all the way to the right coast. This is my right hand if you're watching this on YouTube. Right coast of our nation, nestled in our nation's capital, applying her skills as a master statistician and a mother to 3 cats. You know her.
4 cats.
You love her. 4? Good Lord.
I have 4 cats.
The lovely, the redoubtable Grace. Okay, wait a minute. Ziggy.
Mm-hmm. Pai Mei's the oldest.
Pai Mei.
So,
I know Ziggy, Pai Mei, and
then we got 2 kittens.
Really?
Woohoo!
Ooh, look at the balloons. Okay, who are the other 2?
So when we got so Pai Mei was Flip's cat,
Yeah.
and then when we got together, we got Ziggy, and then right before at the beginning of the pandemic, we got the 2 kittens, Mikasa and Levi, who are named after characters from Attack on Titan.
Of course, I knew that because it was
your
Attack on
daughter's
Titan,
favorite,
which
yeah.
my daughter liked. Yes, now.
Right.
Oh, I'm getting old. I can't remember these things. I'm lucky to remember.
Okay.
I have 3 dogs. I'm lucky to remember their names. It's crazy.
That's right. But yeah, I have 4 cats. So
4 cats. I have 3 dogs, 2 cats. You have 4 cats.
Yeah.
Hey, don't blame Grace or I. All right, we're doing our best to take care of the pets around the world.
Right. That's right. Like, you know, these people just, I can't help it. But yeah, I mean, we'd been talking about getting kittens, but I mean, I always tell people cats aren't as much work as dogs, but they aren't zero work either. Right. And they always tell you, like, when you get a kitten, if you don't get 2, you're the other kitten. So we got 2.
Yeah, it's kind of the way it was with our dogs too. You know, funny thing is, there's this old saying, and those of you listening out there, you'll that have children or multiples, you'll know this saying. It was that old saying that, when it comes to kids, having 1 is like none, having 2 is like having 20. And and what's funny about that is it's the same now. I have that same feeling with dogs. I'll see a family and they have a dog. I said, "Oh, isn't that quaint?
A
1
cute little
dog.
Yeah,
that's like not having anything, And now we're in full zone defense. We moved away from man-to-man, full zone defense with the dogs. I'm running a dime or a nickel or whatever and trying to keep things calm, and it's crazy.
And 1 is full raptor right now.
Full total raptor. He's 5.5 months. He is teenage stage, into everything, chewing everything. So, and the good thing about that with dogs is as frustrating it is, it doesn't last forever. Eventually he ages out of it, and he's like my oldest boy who has just turned 3, and he's chill. He's awesome. So they'll get there.
Yeah, I don't know. Cats are just perpetual toddlers.
They are.
They're a combination of toddlers and teenagers because they always want to be near you, but not so near you, right? Like, which is a very teenager thing, right? Like, I want to know where you are. I want to be in the same room with you, but I don't want to be interacting with you necessarily.
Yeah.
And
it's love on their terms.
Yeah. It's 100%. Cats are all about consent, but only their consent. They don't give a crap about your consent.
Right. and I love our cats. They're great. They're brothers.
Yeah.
And they're named Luca and Enzo. Can you tell I'm a Ferrari fan? So
That's
Luca
right.
and Enzo in the basement, and they go up and down. But but the good thing about cats, there isn't a living, moving thing in the basement.
No,
Not an insect, not a spider, not a mouse, nothing. And Enzo is a full-blown neck-breaking killer. I'm just going to put it out there. So now you know about our pets. It's the off season, folks. What did you want me to talk about? Toto and Susie Wolff?
Just wait.
Yeah, wait till we get to week 14, as we said. Week 14. You think Paul will come in and bail us out some point over the winter, you think?
I mean, it's usually like week 8, right? Because as you get to week 14, then we're ramping up the testing, right? Like, right now we're coming out, we had the prize giving ceremony. We're coming out of the season. And then it's kind of like, the end of December, beginning of January, people are on holidays, and then testing happens in like the end of February, beginning of March. So,
and then we're all talking.
Yeah.
It's
right.
Yeah, you're
we're
right.
Back into Formula One.
It was the prize gathering event or the prize harvesting event.
I don't know what it's very French. I don't know. Yeah,
it is very French. See, in America, we'd say it's an awards show, right?
That's right. Much like, we have shocks, not dampers, right? It would be very uncivilized, whatever word we would use, right?
Yes, it'd be all very American and all very base. Yes, right.
Yes, as opposed to the very fancy words that the
There's
French
the prize
use.
giving gala. Yes, exactly.
Correct.
You have to love that. So, okay, we're going to talk about it.
Need a winter holiday escape? Forget your cares in Fiji. White sand beaches and scuba diving are calling. Your tropical paradise getaway is just one nonstop Fiji Airways flight away. With round-trip fares starting at $899 from LAX or SFO. Or check out great fares to Australia and New Zealand with seamless connections via Fiji. Book now at FijiAirways.com. From here to happiness, flying direct with Fiji Airways.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Because everybody else is talking about it, as they probably should. It was a bizarre thing. So a strange thing happened on the way to the FIA prize-giving gala this year. So a few days before the event, the FIA, let me back up. Let me just say this right up front. So I think the original story came up in a magazine. It was a Business F1 or something like that. And I don't know where it got the story. I don't know anything about that. That's just the quotes that I read in Autosport that it was from this magazine. And I couldn't remember. I knew there was like a Business F1 magazine out there, and it had and I remember it was the Tom Rubathon guy. And I remember him having a magazine in the past. I don't know if it's the same one now. For those newer, there's a history there, so you might want to go back and read a little bit back in the late 90s, early 2000s with that guy and F1 teams or F1 in general or other F1 journalists. There's a bit of a history there that it just, if memory serves correct, isn't the most glowing. So anyway, this story came out in that about some teams complaining. And the FIA then announced that it was investigating a potential conflict of interest concerning Mercedes boss Toto Wolff and his wife Susie Wolff And this caught them both completely off guard. They had no idea this was coming, right?
As they should, because it's not like this conflict happened yesterday. This has been a conflict for like 8 months now.
Yeah, right. So Susie being the director of Formula Academy for Formula One, and Toto obviously being team boss of Mercedes. So the implications, as printed in the F1 press, was that Susie, as the director of the F1 Academy series, is privy to information within the FIA and FOM, Formula One management, that team bosses are not privy to, and that Toto had made a comment during a recent teams meeting, and he said something or shared information that he would not have known because he wasn't in, with the FIA or FOM. Yeah. So for him to know it, someone must have shared it. So the strong, very strong implication is that Susie would have shared it with him knowingly or unknowingly, right? Consider this pillow talk, right? Because they're married. You can imagine that this was met with a whole bunch of anger.
Can I just say, before we get you can have jobs and not just share everything with each other. Like, I don't know why it just seemed that was part of the article was like, well, duh, of course they share it with each other. No, there are things in my job and there are things that Flip does that I can't share, and vice versa.
Yeah.
If you don't talk about it, it's okay, right? Like,
I don't know.
It's fine.
Well,
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just, anyway, like, duh. It was just the way it was presented, like, well, duh. How else would he know? Of course she told him. Of course she didn't. She's a professional. Like,
yeah, who knows?
Like, that can't possibly be the other side of that. Maybe she didn't.
I'd say it's two parts possible that she would share stuff with him as much as it's possible she wouldn't, right?
Right, but it just seemed to be never the consideration that, like...
Yeah.
Of course she did.
Yeah, right. Well, that obviously was met with anger on behalf of Toto via a Mercedes statement, not a Toto Wolff personal statement, a Mercedes statement. And then Susie offered a personal statement in which she was accusing this situation of misogyny as a prime motive for the attack on her character and integrity. So she was mad. Both of them were.
I'm 100% with her.
So I
also was mad.
So it's like, taking a stick to a hornet's nest here. So the strange thing about it is, it's bad enough to attack a guy, but then to attack his wife, you really have to have some serious evidence or a case here. It's one thing to say, I don't know, Toto is getting information somewhere, sharing information that none of the other team bosses are privy to or whatever, and let that, cook where it might. But the implication, just going from zero to Susie, is it's like she said, it's an attack on her integrity and character.
It is absolutely, as I was saying, as if she's not a professional in her own right, and as if she's just waiting around to hear things to share with Toto, and that's the whole reason why she's just a little lady here. Like, yeah, right. Like, she's a professional human being running a series. Like, I don't, and again, on top of the fact that, like, we've known this. Like, I guess that's the part I found most shocking. Like, it's not like yesterday they said, oh, guess what, Susie, you're going to be charged of the F1 Academy. This has been all season that they've been in this conflict together.
Yeah, and I got to thinking about it. I thought, this is kind of on Formula One or FIA or jointly or whatever. If there was a concern that hiring the wife of a current F1 team boss might be a concern, then they shouldn't have hired her, because it puts her and Toto in a very difficult position. By the very nature of her accepting the job to execute what she knows and is doing well and to do her job effectively, only to have this have her drag her name dragged through the mud on this thing, it's putting him in a very unfair situation in that sense.
And I have to imagine, like, again, I know what I go through as not a very high level federal employee, being that I'm married, right? Like that I have to not only be concerned about what would look like a compromising position for myself, whether it's my finances or something else, right? I also have to worry about what my husband does, right? And there are rules about, like, if he would run for public office, there are rules about what I can do and what I can't do as a citizen versus a federal employee, right? Of course, they are aware of these things. I can't imagine that it's just like nobody thought about this, or there isn't some clause in their performance. Plus their last names are the same. It's not even like, no. I didn't know they were married. You're an idiot. But like literally, how did you never put this together? Right. But for sure there is, you're always worried about, your narrative and how things look and, just the idea of improprietary. And I just don't get how this is. I mean, I do, it's Formula One, but like as a legitimate thing, this never came up that Susie's in charge of something that might get her information that Toto would have interest in and can't get himself. Like nobody brought this up before. No, we're just waiting until it's in our favor to bring this up.
And it's also Formula kind of a thing of, if Formula One or the FIA or whatever was concerned about. I mean, it's all, there is some context to this. So, Susie's married to Toto. So if the FIA is getting ready to make a technical directive that is directly pointed at something that Mercedes has on their car or something they're doing, you probably don't want to march into Susie's office and tell her, hey, guess what? We're getting ready to drop the hammer on Mercedes. Yeah. I mean, don't put her in that situation. In fairness to her, and not that she would run and tell Toto, but that's a really difficult position to put her in. So whatever information you're sharing that you wouldn't want team bosses to know, maybe you shouldn't be sharing some of that stuff if you were concerned.
With anybody.
With not just Susie, with anyone, right?
It should be need to know. Again, I assume, and maybe this is a wrong assumption, that I assume that Formula One runs a slightly tighter ship than the one I'm a part of, right? Yeah. And I feel like if I have these safeguards in my job and, and that my husband has these safeguards in his job, I maybe wrongly assume that so does Formula One have these sort of like safeguards about not just common sense safeguard, like, well, it's at your discretion. Like these things are codified about what you can and cannot do and what's need to know. I can't imagine telling anybody those kind of things, let alone, oh, well, yeah, we just told Susie it was fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't understand.
Me and the HR director work for the same company, but she doesn't tell me if there's going to be layoffs.
No.
I mean, and nor should she, right? Don't put me in that situation. I don't want to know that.
Right. But I don't know, like what kind of a bubblegum machine racing series are running over there?
Purple. I hate purple ones. Let's see.
I was led to believe you were professionals. I don't know.
A professional, rise above it. The press report suggested that there had been a complaint from teams about this situation, but things got even more strange as the teams then immediately engaged after Toto went nuclear and Susie did full scorched earth. Then the teams immediately jump onto social media and engaged in this sort of race to deny that they had made any complaint to the FIA about it, which I thought, I get it. I understand. I'm just being slightly critical here. I just thought that's really odd because I'm unclear why the teams even felt the need to even engage in this situation on the back of Toto's and Susie's public anger about it. I mean, why even engage? As you can imagine, all the teams said that they had nothing to do. So all 9 teams said, nope, wasn't us. We didn't do any complaints. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a pointless exercise, and maybe it's just a show of support for Susie or Toto, but I just think that's odd. If you didn't have anything to do with it, you don't know the world, some sort of public.
No. But once one person does it,
then it's
once one person does it, you all have to do it, because if you're the team principal, right, you're Fred Vasseur and you're like, I didn't do it, why do I have to respond to this? And you're the only team that doesn't respond to it. Guess who did it?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, then you're being judged by a jury of this psychopaths on social media.
Funny, we heard from everybody but Ferrari. Right. So I think that's what kind of made that awkward for the other teams, was it was like, once that came out and it was like, well, somebody snitched, and everybody ran to like, I wasn't the snitch.
All right, get PR going. I got to write a stupid statement.
Right. I wasn't the snitch.
Now, the interesting thing is this led the FIA to after all this came out. So I think there could be some semantics here. So a couple things on the complaint thing. There is a complaint process, and there is a process that the FIA has that's established in what they do. First, they go out and they inquire about what's going on. They seek to gain some information and understanding. Then there could be a step 2 in this formal inquiry and its formal investigation, and then they come to conclusion, resolution, all that. So there is a formal process they have in their own bylaws, right, for this kind of process. I don't know if they were really in the investigation stage, which would be kind of like the second stage, or if they were still sort of information seeking at this point and sort of ferreting out if there was any there, right? But they too went public before the teams did and said, yep, the FIA is looking into, from a complaint to the teams, the FIA is looking into a conflict of interest regarding, the situation. So then I thought, okay, well, that's really strange. Why? Okay, whatever. So when the teams all came out with it, it got closer to the FIA prize giving. This is all right before the FIA prize giving thing, right? Where everybody's supposed to show up and be friendly and applause for people getting trophies. So not that long after on Thursday, the FIA announced they were dropping the investigation, but not before Toto said that the team were still heavily engaged in serious legal talks with the FIA, and Susie began demanding to know, no, I want to know who it is, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to find out what's going on and who lodged the complaint to the FIA, right? So she is very mad, and she's going full attack mode. So then it gets even more strange. If this isn't already strange enough, folks, it gets even more strange as the FIA event was ready to start in Baku. Just before it, the FIA released a statement saying that Mohammed bin Sulayem, or MBS as I refer to him, said MBS was involved. His involvement would be muted because he had a fall and concussion, and he was hospitalized. And it's like, what? Oh, so he went to Baku and fell down? What happened? And this is like right before the show, right? And as it turns out, though, MBS was at the gala, and as usual, offered some cringeworthy moments, but he did look worse for the wear, I must admit. And I'm not sure if that's because of his accident or if it's just had the crap beaten out of him over this whole situation mentally with the Wolves. I don't know, but he looked disheveled and out of sorts. The whole event, I ended up watching it, and he would come out and he would directing and pushing people to go this way and that way and doing his thing. And then he'd come out and instantly grab the microphone, and then he would say just odd, cringeworthy things. And I thought that was weird. Oh, and also, let me back up. Also, Formula One management immediately distanced itself from all of this, suggesting that they have no issue with Susie and Toto, and they have no idea, and they strongly disagree, and they have no idea what the investigation's about.
They have to.
Everybody. So that
they
all
got everything
teams,
riding on this.
Yeah, Formula One says, well, I don't know what the hell's going on at the FIA, and the team's like, wasn't us. And Susie and Toto over there just spitting fire. So I put it to you, what the actual hell is going on over there? I'm kind of like,
what does it all mean, Vance?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
The whole thing
Who
is so weird.
throws a shoe?
Who throws a shoe? Honestly. So as this all started to unfold, it's almost like I'm watching a train wreck in slow motion here. It was just
It was exactly what, I mean, I don't know how other, like now every time I see like, you know, a message on my phone or something on social media, I'm like, that's not real, right?
Yeah.
And then I have to like go somewhere else. I'm like, that is real?
Yeah. What?
This was for sure one of those. I was like, no, this is just like, ha ha ha. Like somebody like, no, what? Oh, I don't. All right.
I just thought this was like an episode of
But of
Punk'd
course
or
they
something.
did. I mean, they're trying to get F1 Academy. I mean, the W Series didn't go so well for them. So now they're trying to, you know, sort of restart the effort of having a female-centric series with F1 Academy. They're trying to do it right. And then this happens. And Susie Wolff, of course, is like, you know, of course she takes it personally.
Well, yeah.
Of course, you're just trying to undermine her at every turn, right?
Yeah, you're implying that she engaged in pillow talk and you challenged her integrity. I'd be pissed too.
And nobody challenged Toto's integrity. Like, I don't know how you cannot... I don't know. As a woman,
he wouldn't have been
like,
the implication is he wouldn't have been the holder of the information. She would have been.
It also doesn't matter. It still would have been on her. I mean, I see your point, but I still think the impropriety always is like, well, you know, if Susie wasn't in the sport, this wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
So, of course, the FOM, it has to be like, you know, Domenicali is just like, I've never heard of the Susie Wolff. I've never met her. Well, I'm an old man. I can't remember everything that I do. Right? Like, it has to like pull away from that as much as possible. Of course.
And watching Stefano on stage with MBS is hilarious. You could tell he would rather
he does not want to be there.
He would rather be fighting
anywhere.
dragons in the 9 levels of hell than to stand there with that guy. I mean, you know, I've got a section on reading body language I'll get to in a moment. Okay, so look, this whole situation doesn't require the hindsight, the 2020 clarity of hindsight. You knew as it was unfolding as a slow motion train wreck, you could just, come on, are you serious? You know? And this came out and I thought, are you kidding me? And then the teams start posting. And I thought, for the love of Pete, come on. The teams don't need to engage in this. It's got nothing to do with them. You know, running out in public and stating this. Well, look, let me say this about this. So if you don't live in America or you didn't have a history class and you didn't read the Federalist Papers, there's a part in the Federalist Papers here in the U.S. and you'll find a line from the framers who wrote and admitted that in the future, hey, look, maybe in the future, not everybody elected to office is going to be a statesman, okay? I mean, that's a real possibility. And this is perfectly clear, this situation, I believe, with the FIA and MBS. And I'm sorry, but he's no Max Mosley. He's no Jean Todt. He's not a statesman in that sense, right? He may be doing what he feels is right. Maybe he felt that after this came up and this news article came out that in all fairness, he felt like we need to be transparent and let people know that, yes, we heard the story. Yes, we're looking into it. And maybe he meant it that way, just saying, yeah, we're looking at it. You know, yeah, there's this press report out and you know, we're looking at it. He's trying to be transparent. I don't know. There's a lot of other people that think he has a major issue with Toto and there's a big battle there and he's trying to do this on purpose. I don't know. The fact is, Grace, in my mind, none of this should have been made public.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think
nor should Toto and Susie's name be dragged through the mud in such a public manner on something like this that they dropped just, you know, a couple days after that. I mean, if it was that tenuous and you dropped it that quick, I mean, it should never have been public to begin with.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And
I agree.
It could have, I don't know, you know, I'm making big assumptions like you said earlier, but I kind of feel like this all could have been solved with a few quiet conversations between the FIA, FOM, and the Wolffs.
I just can't imagine that nobody said, hey, I have this idea. W Series didn't work. Let's do F1 Academy. You know who would be great to run the F1 Academy? Susie Wolff. You know what else would be a great idea? Is that if every Formula One team had to have, driver sponsorship, had to have an active role in this, maybe that's not a good idea. Like, this never came up. Nobody had this discussion that maybe Toto Wolff and Susie Wolff also being involved in an entity like this, and that never crossed anybody's minds. I guess that's my level of like incredulous that here we are, 8 months later or whatever, and somebody's gone, maybe this isn't a good idea. Really? I don't think so. I can't believe that that never crossed anybody's mind. I can't imagine that didn't cross Susie and Toto's minds, right?
Yeah, right.
Because that's the last thing she would want, or that he would want, is that she's about to be a part of this venture and that this is going to be compromising to both of them. I don't know. So I just think it was bunk. And then I think all the like team rollout of it wasn't me. I promise it wasn't me. Well, it was one of you. So like somebody snitched, like one of you did. So Who was it? None of you are even going to fess up to the fact that you put this out there. And of course, waited until it was advantageous to put it out there because that's how Formula One works.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I feel like it could have been solved just with a quiet conversation between the three entities. There is a regulation in the FIA Sporting Code, and you veterans out there will have heard this ad nauseum on the penalties that drivers have taken over the years as being penalized because they're bringing the sport into disrepute, right? And this is exactly what this incident did. They should fine themselves. Yeah. Because they brought the sport into disrepute. Fine
yourself.
Yeah. I mean, MBS should fine the FIA, $2 million for this and give it to the Formula Academy as an apology.
There you go.
Yeah, it's silly, the whole thing. The bigger question is the FIA's comment that there had been team complaints, and this led to social media to automatically accuse Red Bull. And my initial thought was...
That's the most fun.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
He's like, oh, what? Somebody complained, oh, that damn Christian Horner. Christian Horner, I hate that guy. He's horrible. And it's like, what?
I watched Drive to Survive. How is Christian Horner not the first person that would come to mind?
Yeah.
That guy lives that life.
Yeah. And I thought, this is
That's
typical.
Great. Blame
Blame Christian because it makes good clickbait and it's all that stuff.
I love it. I'm all for that.
It was interesting because I saw the team statement, but I listened to an interview that Christian did on Sky with Craig Slater. Is that his name?
I don't know.
His last name's Slater. I think it's Craig. I don't know. But anyway, I watched
Christian Slater. Who knows?
Right. And I watched this interview and I watch body language very closely and I listen to words. It's important to know what words mean and how they're used, right?
Please make that the tagline for this show. It's important to know what words mean.
Yeah.
It is important.
It is very important.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting because the team's public statement said they didn't make any complaint. I did find it interesting that Christian said in the interview with Sky that the team had made no official complaint. I think he said that twice, possibly three times, but I think twice. And I wondered why he used the term official.
It was Christian Horner.
So I was thinking about this and I thought, now that's interesting. The team statement that they post on social media is Red Bull didn't make any complaint or blah, blah, blah. His statement is no, we didn't make any official complaint or anything like that. And he said that a couple times. And the semantics is that would be the only way. I mean, it may be semantics, but that's the only way something like this would be launched if there was an official complaint. So he's giving it more weight, maybe suggesting that without an official complaint from any team, they wouldn't start an investigation, and we didn't give an official complaint. All right.
We complain about Toto all the time, but none of it's official.
Who doesn't? But this gets back to, I think, was it an official complaint, Or was it some team bosses just sort of, complaining or groaning about Toto making a comment in a team meeting that nobody else knew? Where did he find that out? Mm-hmm. Right. And so is it one of those deals? Because I'm questioning if it was ever to the investigation status or if the FIA was still just kind of looking into the information. And if it wasn't in a true investigation status, then it probably wasn't an official complaint. It may have been just some grumbling or whatever, and then they just shut the whole thing down. It's my take on it. I could be wrong. Maybe
Toto, bear with me here for a moment.
Toto complained.
Well, I'm sure that's true too, but
bad PR is good PR.
Michael, did you read my email? Right? Like, I just think just maybe, Toto Wolff might have informants, little birds, spies, whatever you want to call them, that isn't his wife. Like,
yeah, right.
Maybe it was somebody at your organization that told him, and maybe you should do some internal looking around and not just blame Susie.
And how would a complaint, if it wasn't somebody in the an FOM or the FIA that was in a meeting where that information was shared, or would know what kind of information is shared in certain meetings, how would another team boss know that it came from Susie and not someone else at the FIA or FOM that also knew the information, right? That maybe Toto was having a chicken salad sandwich with an FIA guy, and he just, I accidentally let something slip that who knows?
That's an important point. Again, we think of Formula One as this giant circus, but it's really a very small community, right? Mm-hmm. Like, these are people who fly on, from race to race with each other, spend a lot of time with each other. I think we always have to remember that it's a very close-knit community, and especially because, when we watch the Braun GP, it's like you can see all these people that are still out, like James Vowles, for example, right? Like you see baby James Vowles in there, and now we know where he is now. But you know what I mean? I think that you see, or Jacques Clear, who's been in the sport forever, right? Like you see that it is a small group of people that just, kind of move around within that. And I also am in a small profession. And the same thing happens. You never know where something you said or did is going to show up somewhere else, because it's a small group of people and everybody knows everybody. So I guess we'll never know until we get the, I guess Ben Silliam's, tell-all book, or Christian Horner's tell-all book, which I can't wait for. That's going to be great.
I would read Christian's. I wouldn't buy MBS's.
I would be in line to buy Christian Horner. First of all, I hope it's an audiobook and he reads it, because that's really what we want. Better. I want Christian Horner to read his own audiobook. Please. That's even better. That's going to be great.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
The whole thing, it could be semantics. Who knows? I'm just parsing words and just guessing. I'm spitballing here, folks. I'm just.
Oh, I think that's
out
loud,
but.
He's and people are very measured about what they say, right? And they're coached about what they say. It's the right? The greatest trick the devil ever did was, convince us all he doesn't exist, right? The ability to just roll these things out as if Christian Horner was just like, oh, I was just thinking these things and I just said them out loud, right? That's the real gift, right? That's acting, right? But he knew what was going to be asked. He knows what to be coached on. He knows what to say. None of these things are on accident. Ron Dennis was, the master of that. Like, nothing Ron says is accidental, right? It's all... Bernie Ecclestone's the same way. There's nothing that Bernie says that was just like... Now, he does sometimes play it like I'm just an old man. I just say things. Nothing you say, old man, is just you saying things. There's always some reason you said that thing, right? So, and sometimes you just kind of have to figure out what the subterfuge is, but... they know what they're saying. And so that's why I think that I didn't make an official complaint. It's a meaningful statement. It's calculated. He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's saying. I was just waiting for the memes, like the picture of the meeting from Drive Survive and the meme. I was just waiting for it, with Christian saying, "You've got a problem with your wife, change your effing wife." I was just waiting for that.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Right.
All the
I
memes.
think my favorite Formula One meme is a picture of Max Verstappen sitting beside the marina in Monaco, I assume. And he's just looking off into the distance, and it's like, everybody always asks how the car is. Nobody ever asks how I'm doing. That's my favorite Formula One meme. That one comes in all the time, right? Nobody ever asks how I'm feeling.
Right.
Nope. Nobody does. They just ask about the car.
So in the whole aftermath of this, I think the FIA would like to put a bookend on this. I doubt.
Yeah, for sure. As quick as possible.
Yeah, I think there's, hey, we looked. Everything's fine. Nobody said anything.
Get down.
I don't think Toto and Susie are going quietly on this one. I think they took a drubbing in the press, and I would imagine they'll pitbull this sucker to the ground. I think they're going to wrestle this tiger to the ground. It would be my thing. I think perhaps, like I said, I'm trying to get better for that. Perhaps MBS felt that being open about the FIA's involvement was transparency, or maybe rumors he has an issue with Toto or correct. I don't know.
Why isn't he?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, but then you say that. That's always what baffles me. You shouldn't have to read into what he says, because he should say it, right? Hey, folks, here's the situation we're in. I have to do something. You know what I mean? He could say, hey, look, I have a job to do. My job is X. I'm doing these things. I have to follow this lead as long as it goes. That's part of my job. Yeah. You could say that. And then nobody has to read between the lines. When you don't say all those things, then people fill in the blanks, and that's where it becomes a problem. So I don't know why he didn't I think your point could be absolutely spot on, but he should have just said that. Hey, you know what? I'm the boss. I got to look into these things.
Yeah,
I may not agree. I may think it's dumb, but I got to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Fine, we don't go, okay, have a nice day. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see you on Thursday at the prize giving gala.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of room for handling this much better. In the end, I don't think it's going to go away quietly. And to be honest with you, I mean, I kind of feel like, Susie's comments about misogyny, I think that's my hunch is that's kind of pointed at MBS, because he was criticized for having what many considered to be misogynistic comments in the not too recent past.
At all of you.
So I feel like there's an issue there, but the bottom line is
not good enough.
The whole thing was not good, and it does. I mean, everybody can distance themselves, but MBS is the leader of this. All right, so you're going to take. You got to stand up and take the hit. And like Grace said, you should have done a better communication job of this.
You have people.
Yeah, but reading the body language of everybody around him is what I find interesting. It doesn't take much to figure out that the teams aren't huge fans of his and his aggressive style. And if you watch Team Bosses or Stefanos even better with MBS, it's always very awkward. Even at the prize giving gala, they had Christian Horner come out, and then once again, our president, they had him come out, and he comes sauntering out, and, is, grabbing microphones and directing people around, and he's like, he says something. Christian's like, "Oh, just give me the damn trophy." As soon as he got the trophy, and they,
I'm out.
He was gone. He was off that stage, man. He was not about to stand there with him and go over this. So it's pretty obvious. I'm still wondering if they won't get to the point of a vote of no confidence for him to affect some sort of change in the FIA's leadership, because I don't think FOM's happy with him either. So I don't know.
Let's bring Jean Todt back. There was none of this.
Yeah, bring Jean Todt.
I mean, he didn't care about it, or he didn't embrace it. I'm not going to say he didn't care. He cares, of course, but he didn't embrace this part of his job. So
he was, because he's everything, everywhere. What's the name of the movie? Michelle,
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
All at Once. Yeah, that's Jean Todt. Mm-hmm. That's him.
Yeah.
That movie is about her husband. That is Jean Todt. He's everywhere. He's everything all at once. I think he's skipping timelines. That's what I think Jean Todt's doing.
So he's actually like, wait, does that make him Kang? Where are we going with this? I love that idea.
Yeah, it does. It does. He should have been in that movie. She did a great job, by the way, in that movie. I thought she was terrific. She's a wonderful actress.
I love her.
But anyway, yeah, that was funny.
No, I'm fully embracing the idea of Jean Todt as Kang. This is great.
He needs to be in that movie. You know,
Dear
her next
Marvel.
movie, he needs to be in it.
Oh, that would be so cute.
Wouldn't it be good?
Oh, I love that. Even just as like an extra or somebody, like, you know, that would be nice.
It'd be like a Stan Lee role, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
he's just a shop owner or something that has like 2 lines and moves on. Oh.
Yeah, thank you. Here's your change. Yeah. Bonsoir. Ambiance. That'd be good for Jean.
That's the extent of Todd's French. No, I think
one more omelette du fromage, and that's it. My wife and daughter speak fluent French. I don't.
Well, that's the most important phrase, so you're fine.
It is cheese omelet. You know, you gotta have a good
that's
cheese
great.
omelet. And speaking of my daughter, it's my oldest daughter's birthday today, so I would like to say happy birthday to my lovely daughter. She's wonderful. She's amazing. Of course, I'm biased as her father, but she's awesome. So let's talk about another news story. While I got you, Grace.
I'm here. Where else am I going to go on a Monday night?
I don't know.
Here I am.
Shall we keep it all about Toto Wolff?
Get down.
Why not?
Sure.
Okay.
That's the Toto Wolff.
This isn't so much.
I know words.
This is one of those stories that just kind of had me head scratching a little bit, and I thought I would share it with all of you that are listening, because I'd love to know what all of you think. Here's the premise. There was an article contemplating team bosses selling up on their shares, and it basically stated its precept is basically this: the value of F1 is so much greater now post Drive to Survive than it was before. And it basically was saying a guy like Toto, who invested millions, could sell up now his shares in Mercedes for billions.
Sure.
Right.
And
of course, this led to headlines, you know, Toto Wolff to sell shares, sells the Mercedes, you know. That's not what this article said. It was just stating the obvious. And it was stating that, like when Dorilton bought Williams, they bought it for $140 million, and that team could be worth over $1 billion now. Right. And so it postulates that teams and some team owners very well could sell, because the valuation is a peak now, and it's very unclear whether that's a sustainable growth factor, right?
How many races can we have in the United States before it's too many?
Yeah, right. Can we have a fourth? Or if we have 5 races in the U.S., would England come and try to conquer us again?
That has to be too many.
I think they'd show up in the Boston Harbor again in redcoats. They would just go. They'd be apoplectic about that.
I'll just move to Montreal. It'll be fine. They have a lovely race.
Damn American Super Bowl thing. Oh man, I don't know. Let me just assure you, all my friends in the UK, I absolutely agree with you 100%. You know that. You know I'm an Anglophile, and I warned you about American ownership of F1, but you didn't listen to me. Well, who's laughing now, huh? So anyway, I told you this would happen.
Dominicali, I'm pretty sure, is laughing all the way to the bank, right?
Excellent. Yes. So anyway, but it got me to thinking, and it made me wonder about Gene Haas and his team.
Oh, yeah.
His team has struggled for a long time now. And I know I wasn't popular a few podcasts ago when I said I think it's time for Gene to find a new team boss because everybody loves him some Gunther. I love Gunther, right?
But I love him not for team principalness, right? Like, again, there are people out there that, you know, I've had coworkers that I love them, like after work, like at dinner at the bar, they're great. I hate working with them and vice versa. There are people that I've worked with that I never want to see outside of work. Like I love Gunther, maybe not for team principal.
I don't know. It just isn't working. Right. So I got to thinking about this. Why wouldn't he sell? I mean, he didn't want to sell to Andretti, I'm assuming, but I'm curious why he wouldn't at this point. I mean, he may say, well, Todd, look at my P&L for Haas, all right? My EBIT is north of 18%. My balance sheet is black, not red, and it's drawn a ton of business on my business. Fair enough. Makes total sense then, and I apologize for even suggesting it. But if the brand and brand awareness isn't impacting the Haas manufacturing business like that, then why wouldn't he sell up and cash out while F1's arguably at its peak, right?
Because these CNC machines aren't going to sell themselves, Todd.
Right. What do you think this company runs on? Memories? Come on.
Right.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But, you know, then I got to thinking a little bit more, which is always dangerous. Sauber already sold. But Williams, Haas, Dorilton, you know, they're an investment group.
I mean, Dorilton seems like the most obvious to get out, right? Like, because they have no invested in this. Like you were saying, I interrupted you, but like you were saying, right? They're an investment firm. This is their job is to buy something and then sell it when it's high before it goes low, right? That's what they do.
There you go. And Longbow owned a majority of Sauber. Alfa Romeo. So, you know, they sold to Audi, right? So this leaves Williams, I think, is a legitimate player in this concept. Haas, it befuddles me why he wouldn't or hasn't. And to be honest with you, I even think kind of Alpine, now that they've got this outside investor money and this investment group with all these, you know, A-list stars and that kind of stuff, you know, and Renault's getting a little, you know, testy over there, footing the whole bill, right? And Renault, you know, thinking Honda might want to come back in. They may want to have access to a team again. Who knows? I'm just curious. What do you guys think? Williams, Haas seem the two obvious targets. Alpine,
right? Most likely.
Maybe not as much, but then again, I think Renault is kind of getting fed up with the lack of performance, right?
Here's what's going to happen. Renault is going to hem and haw, sell it, not sell it, then not sell it, and then still just be in the same place of like middling, not full sending it, because that's what Renault does.
It is.
They have the opportunity and they could leave on a high note, and they won't, and they will just continue to drag along in the same position they've always been in, because that's the Renault way.
That is the Renault way. There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think. It just seemed logical to me, you know, that Williams.
I mean, I do think that Haas is, I mean, again, I think, you know, Dorilton is the obvious. I think there is something there with Haas. Like, why are you still doing this, Gene? Except that, you know, now, I mean, maybe he does just make enough revenue off of just Gunther being Gunther, right? I mean, he's getting a TV show, right? Better call Gene. So who knows?
Right.
Maybe that makes it worth it.
Maybe Gene's got a deal where he gets, you know, 40% of any revenue Gunther, you know, gets out of promoting himself. You know, who knows?
Then he can go on wine trips with, you know, Bonato and, you know, and Gunther Steiner. Who doesn't want that, right?
Right. In a Fiat. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's do...
Gino jammed in the back seat.
Yeah.
His limbs like out the windows, right? Like, because there's no backseat in that car. Right.
Let's do some Alvin's Cats. Oh, that's so fun. You always need a good Oompa band.
Always.
What do you got for us, Grace?
All right. So first of all, I know that we're not going to talk about football because I don't want Todd to get angry and throw his helmet at us.
That was horrible.
Plus, the Steelers also suck. So we're just gonna bypass.
Yeah. Let's not talk about
football.
Yeah, American football. Yeah,
as if there's another kind of football. Please
don't tell Paul that.
Anyway, it's fine. I'll fight him. It's fine. He lives here. He's lived here for a long time. Adapt, buddy.
He sent me a picture today, but I don't think I can tell you guys what it was of, but it was freaking awesome. Anyway.
Oh, way to go, Toto Wolff.
I know.
Just dangle it out there.
I know. I'm name dropping Paul Charsley, and he's sending me pics that I can't tell you about. But just rest assured, when it is safe to release, you guys will love it. It's very cool.
Please put in the comments what you think that picture might be before we find out what it actually is, because that would be way more fun than whatever the picture actually is.
It's a picture of Paul's new Crocs.
Oh my God.
And he's got headlights on the front of him. And that's what he does his jogging.
His little gibbets, right? You can't jog in Crocs.
Paul can.
Whoa. Okay.
But
I do like the idea of like little gibbet headlights. That would be great. Okay. All right. So first things first, I really want to talk as we're moving into the new season. And you just mentioned Sauber. I would be remiss if I didn't say goodbye to what is the greatest logo that's been a part of Formula One.
You're wearing it.
And it's about to go.
I know.
I don't really care for the team. I don't really care for the cars. But your logo is a dragon eating a man. And it's gone. And it's not being celebrated. And I think just we should have a moment for Alfa Romeo for having the greatest logo. I think ever. I can't even think of another. There's a lot of clever logos. But literally, it's a dragon eating a man.
I know. Point it out. It's on your shirt for those watching on YouTube.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
See the dragon,
right?
the green dragon, and the dude halfway in his mouth, and he's got like,
Yeah.
Right? That could be Valtteri because the dragon doesn't like his butt.
Right, and the mullet. Right? If the guy had a mullet or it was a butt picture, then it would be for sure Valtteri Bottas. But so I just would be remiss if we moved on to the 2024 season without shedding at least one tear for the greatest logo leaving the paddock.
I just thought of something, Grace. When Audi gets there, they have 4 rings. They could take
the 4/5 Olympics.
Yeah. They have 4 rings, right? They could take the 2 outer rings away and leave the 2 center overlapping, and it'd look like Valtteri's butt. It'd be Valtteri's butt. It'd look like
a little
butt.
caricature, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right.
Audi could
mullet.
just dump 2 rings,
stick figure,
and you could have Valtteri's butt as the logo for that team.
I like it. There you go.
I like it.
That'd be fine. That would be the best thing they could do, right? I'm sure Seidel would be all over that. I'm sure Andrea Seidel would be like, yes, please.
Yes,
let's make Valtteri Bottas's butt our logo. This is great. This is what
we do in PR and branding. Let's take advantage of Valtteri's butt. Let's make sure we do that.
This is for sure what we've signed up for with this team. Let's get off on a very serious foot right away.
Right. And the good thing about Valtteri's butt is it is applicable in marketing and B2B and B2C, right? So we're good.
We're good. We got that. So I just wanted to kind of, put that moment out there for everybody.
I agree.
My second Albon's cat is I just wanted to say, okay, so I don't know. Valentino Rossi, who retired 2 years ago, he has a MotoGP team. He has a feeder series team, and he's also racing in the World GT Cups. Yeah. And his team won, Team WRT. They race at Misano, which is a track that he's very familiar with. But it was just like, I mean, if I didn't already love the guy, how could you just not love him some more?
I know.
I don't know. It was great, and he was genuinely excited for his win. And I loved his response that when he was interviewed and the reporter was like, which is a classic question that I'm sure he gets all the time, like, is this like asking which of your children do you like more, right? Like, how does this compare to your previous wins? And he went, I don't know. P1 is P1. That's right, kids. P1 is P1. It doesn't matter what I'm riding. I will dominate all of it. P1 is P1. So
that's right.
Hats off to Valentino Rossi for dominating. Well, I mean, it's been run race, but I'm just gonna call it a domination of yet another series. So
that's awesome.
Good job. I know that we're pretty far into the season now, but this racing thing kind of got in the way of our discussion of what is the second most important topic that we talk about on the show, which would be Hell's Kitchen. I mean, we're like 8 episodes in. We're pretty far in now.
I think I've missed the last one or last two.
Okay.
Yeah. But
okay.
I was up to, I can't remember who got cut. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, well, I don't want to spoil anything for you. So
yeah.
I think to me, so I won't talk about who's been let off recently, right? Because now that Great British Bake Off is over, now I can be fully into Hell's Kitchen, and I watched like 6 episodes in a row,
yeah,
or something like that, because I was like, oh, I suddenly have time to watch all of this, right? So first of all, I think that Demir, if he doesn't win, first of all, I think he should win. I really thought that week 1. But if Demir doesn't win, I think Ferrari needs to hire him, because Ferrari needs that. When he had that moment when he was telling Brad, like, I mean, he cussed, but like, calm down and focus. I'm like, you need to work at Ferrari. And the way he kind of like commands the line, like that bunch of knuckleheads that is always the guys. He's the black guy with the dreads.
Yeah, the dreads. Okay. Yeah. He's in there.
But he's the former football player, right?
Yeah.
So he definitely has that like, look at me, focus. We're going to do this thing. I was like, you need to go work for Ferrari. You need to get those people behind you to just shut up and focus and get it together. Yeah, right? Yeah. So we could use that. So I think if you don't win and you don't get to be the head chef in Las Vegas, isn't that what they're doing it this year?
Think.
And at least it's not New Jersey. I still feel bad for that guy. He was really good. And I hope he's not still stuck in New Jersey. But anyway, you should go work for Ferrari. You should be like Fred Vasseur's second. You should be like his anger management coach, right?
That'd
like
be good.
You need to be his second command and just be like, listen, and give them, because his ability to like, he's saved multiple people from like leaving the show. Just because he's like, listen, this isn't who you are. You're better than this. We can do this. Dig down deep. You're my girl. We got this. Right. Ferrari, that's what you need. I'm telling you right now. You need that. I think my other biggest beef with that show is, why do they always have a gimmick? There's no need for a gimmick. And then we get like 8 episodes in and the gimmick dies, because the show doesn't need a gimmick. It's got a gimmick. It's Hell's Kitchen. This doesn't need a gimmick, right? You have guys, you have girls, you don't need a gimmick. But why is it what is this American dream thing? I don't understand. Why is everything, I'm Todd and I'm cooking this steak because it's my American dream to cook this steak for you. Like, let it go.
Isn't Gordon the gimmick?
That's what I'm saying. Your show doesn't need a gimmick.
Right.
You have 2 kitchens.
Right.
You have Gordon Ramsay.
And you're sponsored by Hexclad. What do you need?
Exactly. So I just think, but anyway, so every time they try to like work American Dream in, it annoys me. And the only other thing that annoys me as much as them working this phrase American Dream into everything they do on that show is Michael Andretti. So I shall now refer to Michael Andretti. American Dream, Michael Andretti. From now on, that's his official full name, because those 2 things together will annoy me even more.
It is the American Dream. Gene Haas, Michael Andretti, 3 races in the U.S. The American Dream.
What more could you want? So American Dream, Michael Andretti. Please don't get in my sport.
I like it.
So I'm just telling you, people, that's Demir is who I'm rooting for.
Okay.
And really anybody but not Jason. That's the other one. Like, there's always somebody that like is just so annoying, and that's why they keep him for the ratings.
I think they plant those
that's what I mean. Like,
people.
He shouldn't be there, but they're not going to get rid of him because, he's all like, he's all arrogant and ego. But God, Jason, I'm surprised nobody's punched him in the face, because I really wanted to punch him in the face like day one. Like,
I can't hear.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I can't remember the guy's name. He's an Australian guy on TikTok who does these comedy things, and he's really good. And he did this one where he's holding like a martini glass. And, Jason, and he's talking about F1, and he's making up the sport of F1. He is hilarious. But now my wife and I, every once in a while, was like, Jason. We do that all the time. So. Oh,
next
boy.
Sometimes it's just a little piece of blue tape. We should put a wall there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea, Jason.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
You ready for some no shit headlines? All right. First headline. Here we go. Max Verstappen says, "Stop this S," as Dutch anthem played during off-season live stream.
Because we're all tired of it.
Oh, he's not a patriot? What, does he hate his own country? Listen to that headline.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I thought, oh, really? Come on. So I went and saw it. I watched the video, and these guys were spamming him constantly playing it. He's like, oh, come on, man, stop this, S. Yeah. He wasn't talking about the anthem. They just kept playing it, and he was like, come on, knock it off.
I'm going to put this out there. American National Anthem, too long, and nobody can sing it. So we should just move on. It's fine. You can have any amount of haterade. Is that the secret? Because when you get to Rocket's Red Glare, woo, buddy.
Yeah, no, that's you gotta have a 3-octave, 4-octave voice to nail that sucker. Although
it's a tough.
Donny Osmond hit it out of the park. I'm going to say that again.
He did. I mean, but he's a professional. I mean,
yes.
Not like the professional singers that they get in like arenas to sing the song. I mean, like us regular folks in the grandstands going. Yeah, I can't
sing that high. Yeah.
Right, like
and in
dogs
the stadium,
are now
all the
like,
guys,
whoa.
Yeah, the guys go, and the rocket red glare. They'll drop an octave, so and it's audible already. All the guys drop an octave.
Because I'm not Mariah Carey. I can't hit that note. Right. So I even if, I mean, you're right. It wasn't about the anthem. That's just the funnier story. Yeah. But even if it was, that's fine. You can have haterade on your anthem and still be a patriot. These things aren't related.
Right.
It's fine.
Next headline. Here we go. Ex-FIA chief claims race that handed Lewis Hamilton F1 title was, quote, rigged and should have been canceled. This caught me. I gotta be honest. This caught me off guard a little bit. This is Jean Todt.
Which race?
Singapore 2008. Oh, is this the one Massa's suing
his
about?
His son Felipe Massa? That one? Oh, come on.
Yeah. So Jean Todt said that,
you stole the championship from my son.
Yeah, well, my son's client.
It was rigged.
Yeah. I was like, wow. So yeah, not some personal. Talk about conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Because if Felipe had a payday, I think his son managed him, so maybe his son gets a payday.
Yes.
Anyway,
maybe. I don't know. I think that's
it's worth inquiring.
I bet Susie Wolff is going to get blamed for that too.
I agree. And Jean Todt, that's misogynistic. Quit it. So this next one is random. I didn't even go read it. I wouldn't even bless it with a click. Daniel Ricciardo issues foul-mouthed reply to critics after taking punches to the gut. It's like, I'm not even.
First of all, everything that guy says is pretty foul. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of how DR rolls.
He probably used the S word or something, right? Like, it would be enough to get us an explicit rating on YouTube. But is it really?
Netflix are real buttons, aren't they?
Well, he did say the C word.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's a different word altogether. But, I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be different if it was like.
It's Dan.
Yeah, Valtteri Bottas. I don't know. Somebody like, really? But no. Yeah, it's par for the course.
It is.
Ricciardo.
It's Dan. That's why we love Dan. Right. And the final one I didn't bless with a click. Dramatic Lando Norris change explained as McLaren's secrets spilled by F1 chief.
Is that also Jean Todt?
No. No. Could be a son for all I know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to read that.
All right. Lando, a big change for Lando Norris, I guess.
Yeah, what could it be? His diet?
Seems.
I don't know.
Taking more naps? I don't know.
don't know. It's just crap headlines. Oh my! All right.
I mean, I guess that's the thing too. It's not just us as every week toward that we get closer to mid-January. It gets harder and harder. It gets harder and harder for everyone.
It does. It's hard for everyone.
Yeah. They also have to come up with headlines that are, like they got to keep those clicks coming.
That's right.
Both of those last two headlines.
Yeah,
could have been about anything.
Times are tough. Inflation's hurt all of us, including headlines. So,
So I just think that, they too are struggling for content. It's not just, a soft season podcast.
Yeah, don't get mad at me.
Stop yelling at Todd.
All right, let's back out of this podcast. It is worth noting a show note. I haven't talked to Grace or Paul yet. I haven't talked to Grace about it, but we do have the holidays coming up. Not next week. Next week should be standard program as usual. But then we've got 2 Mondays in a row that's a holiday. So 25th, Christmas is on a Monday, and the 1st, New Year's is on a Monday. So I'll have to work it out with Grace. We'll have to figure out. Of course, I would like a break somewhere in there. But don't kill me. Don't get all mad and send me hate mail.
Seriously, Todd?
Yes, exactly. Serious.
Stop yelling at Todd.
So, but anyway, we'll let you know next week.
You, the listener.
Yes.
From having to listen to us for 2 Mondays make stuff up. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
We're giving you that quality family time that you need.
That's right.
This is the kind of podcast we are. So anyway, stay tuned next week. We'll have an update on programming note. A huge thank you to our Patreon supporters out there, because if it wasn't for our Patreon supporters, oddly enough, we wouldn't even do this podcast. It wouldn't happen without them. So huge thank you. It is the holiday season. If you ever feel compelled, are we doing hearts? Oh, see, your phone does the hearts. If you have ever felt compelled to support our podcast, maybe a little holiday gift, we would be appreciative. You can go to our website, thepartforme.com. Look on the right-hand side, it says support us. All the way down at the bottom on the left says support us. And you can click on that, and there's multiple ways you can support us for as little as $1 a month. So we would appreciate that. And you don't have to do $1 a month. You could do just a one-time donation of $1. That's fine too. But anyway, that's there. Also, if you like the podcast, go over to your favorite podcast player, give us a good rating, show us some love over there. We'd appreciate that. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe and the bell icon. I'm told that does something, but I don't know what it is.
And if you don't like it, just stop listening.
Yeah, don't listen. There's a lot of other better F1 podcasts out there you can go listen to.
I've never understood. You took the effort to say, I listened to this an hour and a half, and I didn't like it.
Suck. They're just a bunch of Lewis Hamilton haters. They're just a bunch of Lewis Hamilton lovers. So anyway, hit the
in the same comment, right?
Yeah. Well, there was 2 reviews that said the exact opposite. We love Lewis, we hate Lewis, and we're racist. And I was like, all right. How did 2 people listen to that and get the? So anyway, like, subscribe, and the bell icon. So if you're watching, and for those that didn't know, I need to say this at the beginning of the podcast because nobody listens all the way to this point. But we do these on YouTube, so you can go watch us arm wave and do silly things on YouTube. So if you want to watch and see talking heads, you can do that. You can see Grace's awesome Alfa Romeo shirt tonight.
That's right.
Okay, until next week when we come back to do it all over again, this is Todd, a.k.a. Negative Camper, saying so long, Grace.
See you next week.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
It's not what I feel I've got to prove at all. I don't really want to prove anything. I started as an amateur with no idea or no intention of becoming world champion. I was curious to find out what it was like to drive a car fast, to drive on a certain circuit, to drive a certain type of car.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, oh, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.